All right, guys, I'm out here with my buddy Dylan. I am not an avid snook fisherman. He is an expert snook fisherman. And so snook season just opened, right?
Yeah, just opened. March
so
1st.
I want to know how to do it. So he's going to tell me a few tips about using some gambler stuff, some hookup stuff to get out there for somebody who's not super experienced with catching snook, especially big snook, and so I can get out there and just catch some fish. So the first thing that I'm really wondering about is, let's talk presentations. What do I need?
Presentation. Well, the easiest thing for you to use, and that kind of plays into the name, is the GZ Swimmer. That's gonna be your go-to because it's the easiest thing for you to use. We're using it with this leader here, and you're gonna try to find a heavy current situation, dirty water. Dirty water's best. It's, I know you're typically used to clear water.
Clear water, yeah.
But it's
so
complete
number
opposite.
one thing I gotta go off.
You want that dirty water presentation because that's when the fish kind of get dumb.
Okay.
And you want to bring it, throw it out where you have hard moving current structure, whether you see it or whether you don't.
Okay.
Bridges. You got inlets. You've got any curves and rivers with docks on them.
So I'm looking for breaks, like
for breaks.
eddies,
Yeah,
anything like that.
You're looking for those eddies, and
Okay,
you're gonna want to kind of fan it out into that current and hit the bottom.
Okay.
And then just bring it real slow, just kind of ticking the bottom real slow, and then pause it.
Okay.
Let it hit the bottom again.
Well, and that kind of leads to another interesting thing. So basically, we're going to focus on kind of like a swim bait or a soft plastic style bait that Gambler's got. But you're talking about hitting the bottom. So that probably means, am I using heavier stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Like what kind of jigs, what kind of, terminal setup am I going to use so that I am hitting the bottom?
Well, I'd use somewhere between a 7/9 to 8 foot medium heavy action rod.
All right.
Myself, I like winching them in because when snook season opens, I use 80 or 100 pound braid. And,
wow. I like this.
We're using we're wanting to get the fish, if they're big or if they're small, we're wanting to get them in real fast, not having that lactic acid buildup where they're getting real hurt. Get your slot fish on the bank and keep going fishing.
Definitely.
I'm using usually a real heavy reel, usually either a 400 style, kind of like a low profile style, or like a Dial Alexo or an Okuma.
Okay.
And probably 80 or 100 pound Power Pro.
Okay, and you're using that heavy stuff too because I'm assuming you're using some heavy jigs.
Oh yeah,
and
you're wanting to drive that
baits?
hook in. I mean, this has got an 8/0 double strength, a triple strength hook on there.
Wow.
And you got to drive that hook in.
And in general, what kind of weight on the jig heads am I going to be using? What am I looking for?
Typically around here on the west coast of Florida, you're going to be using somewhere between a 1/2 to a 1 ounce. You get into some situations where 1.5, 2 ounce jig head. You want to, snook are a bottom oriented fish, and you want, they're hanging towards the bottom. They're, 99% of the snook hits you get are going to be on the bottom or very close to it.
Right.
So you want that to get down there. So typically around a 1 ounce, probably 3/4 to a 1 ounce.
But have a range because you don't know how much current and how much depth you're going to have to deal with.
Yeah, for your guys on the east coast of Florida, you could get up to typical size is 1 to 2 ounces. That's usually 1 ounce is a good staple to have.
But I'm assuming that triple X hook, not only for, show that size of that bait.
It's got.
So you need the big hook for that size of the bait that you're throwing, as well as the fact that I don't snook fish, but I know snook pull hard.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you need some beef. So that triple X hook is
You're not
essential.
afraid to straighten it out.
Exactly.
They put fish on the bank, man. And the same thing with also the bucktails too. You can't go wrong with the bucktail.
That would be fun to fish.
Stands out in the current. It stands out dirty water, clear water. I myself like brighter lures. It stands out. They got the whole thing. People say match the hatch. I have a complete opposite. Slap the hatch.
Slap the hatch. I like that.
Something different.
So tell me something too, that bucktail. So in freshwater situations, we don't put any kind of trailer on that. Yeah. Are we going to put a trailer on that for this situation?
You can if the profile of the bait are round, or if you're going for more of the slot size fish. I always like to put like a some type of trick worm or a sweebo on the back of there. Usually something like a white.
Like a bass plastic. Almost.
Yeah, almost like a bass plastic. I know some guys will put swim baits and stuff on the back of them. But, usually I just put a trick worm on there of some sort.
That's crazy. All right, so thus far I got super heavy terminal setup, like heavy braid, heavy rod, big stuff.
The thing is, as well, is we're fishing around bridges. They can cut you off.
That's true. The pilings, the rocks.
There's places where I'll use small lures like this. We use the 4-inch flapping shad.
Okay.
And I really like the way these heads work, but this is only in open water situations.
Okay.
And even then, people consider what I'm using heavy. This is 50-pound mono here.
Right.
But snook have sandpaper-like mouths. We've been frayed through straight 80 before.
That's insane.
It's a problem sometimes. So 50-pound, you're using a light 10 to 12-pound setup.
Okay.
It's open water.
Okay, but you're focusing, it's still heavy terminal stuff.
Yeah.
Right? So the general philosophy though is going to be heavy terminal stuff. Even if you're fishing more ultralight, you might use a lighter rod or something, but you're still going heavy line, heavy duty jig, those
Oh, yeah.
triple X hooks or heavier hooks, big baits.
And that's where the wire comes into play too. No
That's
retying.
the other thing I'm wondering about. So I saw this wire tied up, and I'm like, what are we going, like pike fishing or something? Tell me about this wire setup you got going on.
Man, you can use a lot lighter jig head. It makes the lure swim a little better. It cuts through the water. And a big problem we have over here on the West Coast is you got phosphorescence. And
What's that?
It's when the plankton, they give off the chemical phosphorus.
Okay.
And it actually puts this almost like, it looks like a vapor trail coming off the back of your lure. And this wire cuts through that, and it'll still put off a vapor trail, but not where they can, see a complete outline of everything on your bait.
Right.
And you get, when people aren't getting bites, you'll get bites on wire. It's an old school trick that's coming back around.
It's kind of crazy too, because it seems a little counterintuitive. So are you looking at this as like is this a leader? Like, what would you describe this wire
Oh
section
yeah, no,
as?
this is a leader. I usually right here I tie a swivel on there, and tie your mainline right onto here.
Really? And will you do that both on that lighter setup that you got right there?
The
as
lighter
well as the
setup,
heavier?
usually I stick with mono.
Okay.
Because if I'm already fishing, I'm fishing smaller fish. They usually come up and they have a tendency to shake off a lot. So that mono really stops. It's like a shock absorber in that
Gotcha.
situation. There's no give. You get hit, you're there. It's there.
The winch.
Oh yeah.
All right, last thing. Where am I supposed to go fishing? I literally have no idea, dude. Like, zero idea. What am I looking for in a spot? Just basics.
Well, you're looking for heavy current.
Okay.
You're looking for dirty water.
Okay.
And the simplest thing is find yourself a good bridge, a good inlet. We've got a lot of inlets over here on the west and east coast of Florida. We've got a lot of bridges around here. You want to find fast moving current, dirty water, and a lot of guys are going to be fishing the side of the bridge where the current's going to be coming against
Right.
coming at you. That's something we will do. But one thing we like to do is, go on the opposite side where the current's going away from the bridge, cast down the shadow line and let it sweep out in front of the bridge.
Very nice.
Because you have a primary shadow and a secondary shadow where the shadow is being cast out. You want to find that current though. That's your key right there.
Current is key.
Current structure, and you want to find dirty water. That's your
Public access, so you don't.
Public access, but
But yeah, it's not essential, especially when you're hardcore like this guy.
oh god.
Well, dude, that gives me a great idea of what I need to do. I really appreciate the tips.
Yeah.
And I guess if anybody wants to get out there, all they need is just some basics. Grab some hookup stuff, grab some gambler stuff.
Yeah, grab
heavy duty tackle.
Trophies heads.
That's the deal.
They are, you can put, I'll put the 6-inch GZ on there. I'll put the 8-inch on there, and even with the bite ratio, I'll show you here, is I'll put this small one on there, and you will not miss a lot of fish. But that's
true.
That hookup ratio, with that, you get thumped, you're not missing them.
It's game on.
It's there.
All right, well, I want to go do some snook fishing. That's a wrap. Check all that stuff out at www.hookuplures.com or www.gambler-lures.com. And thanks, Dylan.
Yeah,
I appreciate
of course,
the
man.
insight, dude.
Yeah.